the assassination of Ismail was the main reason of Iranian retaliation. We targeted military bases, military installation of Israel. It has affected the military capability of this illegal and illegitimate regime to invade more or strike more. Netanyahu is partial of the problem, but Israel as a whole is a problem. Israel did not see anything in front of it. Nothing has remained for Palestine. So no one has stopped Israel from expansion. Hezbollah is a political party. It has represented in the parliament. Our main concern is our national security.
Let's turn to an India Today exclusive. Joining us now is Dr. Iraj Elahi, His Excellency the Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to India. Appreciate your joining us here, Dr. Elahi, at a tough time for Iran and the world. I want to ask you straight away, has the missile strike of a couple of days ago on Israel by Iran pushed the world even closer to the brink of an escalating conflict, a conflict that could involve many more countries in the region?
First of all, I would like to thank you, India Today, Gita and Mr. Rajdeep, for this opportunity that give me to talk to your audience. Since there is a mainstream media all over the world trying to misinform people regarding the development in the region, it is a good opportunity for me, and I really appreciate this. Back to your question, we believe that Iranian missile strike not only pushed the world and the region toward escalation, but since the intention of Iran was deterrence against the invasion and violation of Israel, it has pushed the region toward stability. You know, this is a new narration of the situation in the region.
You're saying the missile strike has pushed the region towards stability?
Stability and security. How? Yeah, it's a good question. Very good question. You know, since the beginning of establishment of Israel in the occupied territory of Palestine, they have expanded their territory day by day, step by step. They have invaded different side of Palestine. They have pushed Palestinians to leave their homeland. They destroyed by bulldozer, by different instruments, the houses of Israeli Palestinian, and nowadays even Gaza was a Palestinian pure area which was populated by Palestinian. Now is nothing has remained in Palestine, in Gaza. Even in West Bank, they have occupied different parts of the West Bank. So comparing the current Palestine territory, Palestinian, even the Mahmoud Abbas state territory to the 1947, 1963, 1967, 1973, nothing has remained for Palestine. So no one has stopped Israel from expansion. Expansionism of Israel has no limitation. So somebody should stop Israel from this.
Yeah. But Ambassador, how do you think Iran's missile attack will stop Israel? Israel has just said that they are going to retaliate. Biden might have come out and said, do not attack Iranian installations, nuclear installations. But all that talk has fallen into deaf ears when it comes to Netanyahu. Why do you say that Israel is going to stop, or it's going to deter Israel?
You know, Israel does not understand, is not committed to the international law. It has proven that it is not committed to international law. Genocide in Gaza has shown and proved to the people that Israel do not pay any attention to the human principle, ethics. So it just understands the language of force.
So they might retaliate.
Israel did not see anything in front of itself. It occupies Lebanon, in South Lebanon, even in Sabra and Shatila, inside Beirut, capital of Lebanon. They killed too many people in Sabra and Shatila camps. But when Hezbollah appeared, when Hezbollah got enough strength to push them back, they withdrew their forces from Lebanon and they went back. Of course, still there are some parts of territory of Lebanon is under occupation of Palestine, of Israel. Regarding Palestine, you know, nowadays, no one could stop genocide in Gaza. Does or did United Nations as an international structure or Security Council of United Nations or NATO or other structure or international institution who have influence on Israel, could they prevent or stop genocide in Gaza?
But how will your missile strike stop that? If anything, as Gita said, Israel has said they will retaliate, that Iran has made a big mistake. So if you say that there has been this bombing of the Palestinian people, of the destruction of Gaza, how is a missile strike of the kind that Iran has launched on Israel going to actually stop that?
And
it will only embolden Israel even further to target Iran, possibly to target other parts where Iranian so-called proxies are there.
Can I just add there, is Iran prepared? Is Iran prepared for an attack by Israel? Because that's certainly something that's going to happen.
It's a good question. You know, the question has two parts. The first part is that the relation between Iranian strike to Israel and ongoing massacre in Gaza.
How is it going to stop it?
You know, we indirectly, when Israel is engaged with itself inside Israel, it will, and we targeted military bases, military installation of Israel. It has affected the military capability of this illegal and illegitimate regime to invade more or strike more Gaza. But
they denied, sir. Mr. Ambassador, they denied. They say your strikes have had no impact. If anything, in the last 48 hours, we've seen more Israeli strikes on Beirut, on Lebanon.
So and the Beirut airport today.
And do you really believe, therefore, that Iran's missile strikes have actually in any way compromised Israel's ability to attack Gaza or Lebanon or indeed possibly Iran in the future?
You know, the media in the war, during the war, or any tension, every side tried to underestimate the consequences or result of any operation. You know, we do the same. They have, but before the start of our talk, in your channel you show that Iranian missile how hit the territory of occupied Palestine and the explosion. So they claiming that they have Iron Dome intercepted Iranian missile, and the reaction of Netanyahu and other officials of Israel shows how painful this strike have been. But
you believe your strikes have damaged Israel?
We believe that. First of all, we had no option just to retaliate the invasion of Israel on sovereignty of Iran because of assassination of Ismail Haniyeh inside capital of Iran. This is the reason the reason of our intention of our operation. This is something which should be clear for you and for your audience. This is one thing. Secondly, we targeted military and intelligence installation and structures of Israel, which affected its capability. Of course, Israel has support of United States. As you know, the new bombs which is used and deployed by Israel recently has been submitted to Israel by United States.
But you're saying your attack is for Israel's actions inside Tehran. It's not as a retaliation to the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah. The belief is that Iran has been pushed into this because you have to show the Hezbollah, you have to show your own proxies that, look, Iran will not stand by, Iran will stand with you. Is that the reason? Because the timing seems very clear. Hassan Nasrallah's assassination is followed by the missile strike.
You know, first of all, and intentionally, the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh and violation of Ismail Haniyeh inside capital of Iran was the main reason of Iranian retaliation.
That's the main reason.
That is the main reason.
Not Hassan Nasrallah.
Hassan Nasrallah is something else. Hezbollah is enough strong. Hezbollah, you know, there is a misinformation. It should be said to you and your audience. You know, Hezbollah, despite of the media, despite of the information which is released, is a political party. I try to clarify this for Indian at least, and all people in the region, at least in the region. 1.4 billion population of India is a big figure, and this clarification should be done for them.
That Hezbollah is a political party, it's not a militia, it uses guns.
I have served in Lebanon for 4 years. I have served as diplomat in Lebanon for 4 years. I have been in Central Asia, I have been in Moscow, different countries. I have served in Lebanon too. Hezbollah is a political party. It has representative in the parliament of Lebanon, like your party. Your party, those who have member in Luxembourg.
But it has its militias, sir. It has its armed militias.
I will explain. It has ministers in the cabinet minister of Lebanon.
It does.
It is a legal party.
But Lebanon does not have a government right now, Ambassador.
In Lebanon, just a minute. It's a sensitive issue, should be clarified for the audience to get to a clear result. I am here to clarify this. In Lebanon, there are Shia community, there are Sunni community, there are Maruni or Christian community, and there are Druze community. These four community have, because of the weakness of the government of Lebanon, all have party, all have educational system by themselves, health system by themselves, and even they are obliged to have militia for defense of themselves. Even Christians community have, Samir Jaja is a Maruni, it has militia. No one criticized Christian, no one criticized Samir Jaja.
Because Hezbollah is using its weaponry to target Israel.
No.
Can you deny that?
No. Hezbollah is criticized because it is trying to liberate the occupied parts of Lebanon. Nowadays, Gajar village, Mazar Shab'a are under occupation of Israel. And Israel nowadays try to make a hub or a buffer zone inside in the south of Lebanon to, as it claims, to make Israel safe. So
Ambassador Elahi.
Jaja is affiliated to Israel, but and for this is not tagged terrorist. But Hezbollah is defending sovereignty of Lebanon, which is not on the benefit of Israel. So they tagged it as terrorist, and they tagged its militia as terrorist. So it could not be accepted.
Ambassador Elahi, let's just come back to the war.
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at the war, it seems like Israel does have an upper hand because Iran has suffered great losses. Ismail Haniyeh being killed or assassinated on Iranian soil.
It was painful
Hassan
for Iran.
Nasrallah in the Hezbollah headquarters in Beirut or suburbs of Beirut. Qasem Soleimani having been assassinated, and the top rung, second rung of the Hezbollah decimated. Right now, in this war, it doesn't seem like Iran has much to show for in terms of capability. Netanyahu said he can reach the heart of Tehran. Today, the Supreme Leader is going to speak in Iran, despite all the security concerns. It does seem like at this point in time, there are security concerns and Iran is at a disadvantage in this war?
We believe that this is not the first time that Israel has threatened Iran. This is not the first time. And the assassination of General Soleimani, assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, loss of Hezbollah, Secretary General of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, are painful for Iran. But you know, our main concern is our national security, our national interest. You know, despite they are saying that Iran, they are accusing Iran that Iran is supporting its proxy. We do not have proxy. Of course, we support the resistance group. Resistance group is acceptable in all international law.
You support Hezbollah?
We support Hezbollah. We do not deny that. We have not denied that. At the high-ranking level, Iranian official said that Iran is supporting Hezbollah. Iran is supporting resistance group in the region because they want to liberate their homeland. It is according to international law. But, you know, the definition of terrorist is not, they are defining terrorists as they want. There is a double standard. There is a double standard. Assassination of Ismail Haniyeh inside Iran by explosion or missile or anything is not terrorist act. It's terrorist. But why many countries did not call it terrorist? Why many countries did not condemn this?
Which comes to the question, will Iran therefore find itself more isolated, be treated almost as a pariah state, not just by the West, but even by certain moderate Arab states who are worried that you are exporting this Shia, a kind of militant Shiaism across the region? Will Iran get more isolated as a result of what is happening? Are you worried, as Geeta said, are you being pushed into a corner increasingly?
We believe that our discourse has increased popularity of Iran in the region, across the world, and
even among moderate Arab countries? Even
among Arab countries. You know, you should separate Arab state, statehood, you know, statecraft, and people. You know, Hassan Nasrallah, who now is called and tagged as terrorist after war 2006, 33 days war between Israel and Hezbollah, was the first man in the Arab world. According to the poll which was done by different, and even in the Western countries, all the popularity of Iran has increased. We do our discourse to defend oppressed people of Gaza, oppressed people of Palestine.
So when Mr. Netanyahu,
popularity.
So when Mr. Netanyahu says or hints at a regime change, that all of this will lead to a regime change in Iran, says my war is not against the people of Iran, it's against the leadership of Iran, and hinting at a potential regime change in Iran, what would you say?
This is a dream, you know. For 45 days, not only Netanyahu as a puppet of United States, but the United States itself as a superpower tried to change the regime of Iran, but it failed. You know, we are not scared about the regime change. I believe that it's time to think about regime change inside Israel. Let's think about Israel, regime change in Israel. You know, Netanyahu has hijacked Israel, Palestinian, hijacked the whole region, hijacked the United States, hijacked the state of illegal regime of Israel, and security and stability of region for itself, for himself. You know, let's think about the regime change inside Israel. We believe that this situation will lead to collapse of the coalition inside Israel. Because the demonstration and uprising inside Israel and objection against the administration of Netanyahu has increased inside Israel, despite this censorship. You know, there is no picture about the strike, the location of that Iranian missile hit or strike in Israel because of heavy censorship.
There's censorship in your country as well. Let's be clear, Mr. Ambassador. When you say there's censorship in Israel, neither of you, you're not telling the world the truth. You've not allowed anyone who resists your regime in Iran to be allowed to speak out.
Please do not use your regime. You know, Iran is Iranian government. Iranian statehood is based on the vote of people. You know, after revolution, the Islamic Republic of Iran statehood is not based on was not established after a coup d'etat. It was based on a revolution. After just less than 2 months after revolution, we conducted a referendum. People of Iran accepted and called the tapes of the state of Iran, and they call it Islamic Republic, not Republic of Iran.
Sure. Does it have the same support? Does it have the same support today as it had 45 years ago?
Demonstration of the people in the nowadays and support of course, some problems, some difficulties has decreased the popularity of the state, but still, if something happens, such what is happening now, will show the percentage of support of Iranian people to the government of Iran. You know, please, dear audience, I am talking to you. The reality of Iran differs from what the mainstream media is presenting. This is unfortunate, even in India. Please, I have asked Gita Mohan. I have invited different media of India. Please go to Iran. Whoever has traveled to Iran and visited Iran has seen and witnessed that the reality of Iran.
So the image of an orthodox
picture which has been presented by media.
Okay. Can we come back to the issue at hand over here? There are so many leaders who have been killed, but none has got a decent burial. That is going to be certainly a problem, an issue. Hassan Nasrallah, his body all intact, but has not found a decent burial. In fact, today what we're looking at is a symbolic funeral, a symbolic burial. Where will Hassan Nasrallah finally be laid to rest? Is it going to be in Lebanon? Is it going to be in Karbala? Is it going to be in Najaf in Iran?
Because this is not related to me as ambassador of Iran. It is related to the Lebanese and Hezbollah party. But because of according to my information which I received, because of the situation in Lebanon, and there is no guarantee regarding the genocide of Israel. There is no guarantee, no safety, so they are hesitating to, and maybe they have buried his body without publicly. So it is related to them, and I am not in the
Any
position to answer.
expectations from the Supreme Leader's statements today? Because there have been concerns with regards to certain statements he made about India. And India raised objections.
Please separate that about India. Regarding the Supreme Leader, I as ambassador, I am waiting for the statement of the Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader, because of he is too busy, he seldom participate in the Friday prayer. Just if you see, if you review the recent years after assassination of General Soleimani, Supreme Leader said prayer. And after the martyrdom of Hassan Nasrallah, also today we are waiting him to say Friday prayer. So it should be, his speech should be important, and his statement have very important articles.
Was he in an underground bunker? Was he in a bunker, in a safe house, as was being reported by Israeli media?
No.
How?
His position is clear. His position is, this is the main. This is the differences between Iranian government, Iranian statehood, and other statehood. The government of Iran is not separated from the people of Iran. During the Imam Khomeini, Saddam Hussein treated Iran that I will do so and so, and I will hit in Tehran. At that time, people tried to convince Imam Khomeini to go to safe place. He did not accept. Even today, Supreme Leader did not accept.
So are you?
Officially saying this.
So, Mr. Ambassador, how secure, therefore, is Iran, given the fact that Israel has vowed to retaliate? How secure is Iran from this threat that Israel poses? The US has said, don't target nuclear installations, but there is a question mark over oil installations, what that could do to the world. How secure does Iran feel today, given that there is now this omnipresent threat of Israel retaliating?
Your question could be answered in different aspects. First of all, we hope that Israeli Zionists, in fact, has reached to this conclusion and has learned a good lesson from the recent strike, and that any strike they will receive more stronger strikes. So it will be on their benefit to not do anything that will push Iran toward a react. This is first. Secondly, Iran has reached to a level of self-sufficiency in defense that can defend itself. Regarding nuclear installation, we hope that the advisor or the Lord of Israel, which is United States, can convince or oblige it to not.
But are they listening to US? Is Netanyahu listening to the US at all?
But Netanyahu is receiving ammunition from US.
Okay. I really need to ask this. What is your expectation from India? Because there have been conversations with India, and India has a lot of interests there, not just in terms of oil, but in terms of infrastructure as well. So Indian interests in Iran, how badly can they be affected, and what are the conversations you're having with New Delhi?
Since the beginning of the tension between, this recent tension between Iran and the region, I explicitly and occasionally mentioned that India is an important country, influential country, not only at the region but at the international level. It has good relations with Israel. It can convince Israel to stop genocide. According to the Hinduism, genocide is not accepted. You know, when you respect even a plant, when you respect an animal, so you cannot be silent. You cannot be indifferent regarding the genocide, ongoing genocide in Gaza. So India can use its influence to stop this genocide. Of course, there is a differences. You know, India called 7th of October as terrorist act. Okay. How many people were killed in 7th of October? How many people?
Over 1,000, which you presumably, do you
1,200.
regard it as a terrorist act? Do you see 7th of October, sir, as a terrorist act?
Just
Over 1,000 people.
Let's assume that
It was a terrorist act.
Let's assume that it was a terrorist act.
Yes.
One is equal how many person? Nowadays, the number of casualty in Gaza has exceeded 41,000 people.
Your point taken,
one-
sir, but
one
would
za-
you accept that
one
it's a terrorist
people-
act? I
one-
take your point, Mr. Ambassador.
It means that
But do you
one-
accept that Hamas committed a terrorist act? Do you accept that
No.
Hezbollah's attacks on northern Israel will be seen as an act of provocation? Do you see when Houthis from Yemen target Israel, that's also seen as
No.
an act of provocation? And Iran is seen to protect all these groups.
No. You know, our viewpoint regarding the basis of the tension differs. So when the basis of the issue in your narration differs from mine, so
You're saying it didn't start on October 7th. It started with what you believe is the illegal occupation of Gaza and West Bank.
October 7 was a military operation by a resistance group, not a terrorist act.
That resulted in the killing of innocent civilians, sir.
Innocent people. You know, Israel also is doing military operation, which is daily is killing innocent people, infants, old men. They are hitting, they are targeting residential
But Ambassador,
area.
every strike is leading to innocent people being killed,
Yeah.
displaced. Look at Lebanon.
But-
it's a severe humanitarian crisis today. People are going from Lebanon to Syria, which is also being bombed. There is no safe place for Lebanese today.
Yeah,
And no
unfortunately.
safe place if countries continue to fight each other. Is there a
So
solution?
it's the duty of the international community and also India to stop Israel.
So what's the
Do you
solution?
think-
What is the solution
What is the
according
solution?
to?
Stopping Israel from its invasion to an expansion policy of Israel.
And if they do that, would you stop supporting the likes of Hezbollah,
Will
the
they do
Houthis,
that?
the Hamas? And do you believe Israel would do it?
Will they do that?
If they stopped, you know, the main roots, the main cause of tension in the region is Israel, dear brother, dear sister, dear audience. The problem is Israel. But the world try to ignore it. They try to turn back and do not see Israel as the cause of the problem.
You're saying
And
recognize
you
a
are-
two-state
Ambassador-
solution. You're saying recognize a two-state solution. You're saying you would accept a two-state solution? Would
We do
Iran
not-
accept it?
Just a question. Is there any territory to give to Palestinians to set up their state? It's a question. Is there
They already have land, and
No.
should that be recognized as a
If
state?
there was, I wish
They're
I have
stateless right
brought,
now.
I wish I have brought a map of current Palestine
I know. We've seen
and
that.
current
We've seen.
Israel, comparing to
1947,
1973,
yeah, and
1967, 1947. Is there, you know, the expansion policy of Israel has not remained anything for Palestinians.
Do you-
And now you are talking about two-state solution.
Do you think
Two-state solution
Netanyahu has
means
been...
that setting up a state needs different elements. First of all, territory. Second, economy. Third, military forces to defend itself. Now, Palestinians have no territory to set up
Ambassador,
said
is the
that
situation today because of the Israeli policies or because of Netanyahu's policies?
is Netanyahu, you know, Israel, Netanyahu is partial of the problem, but the Israel as a whole is a problem. You know, Netanyahu, before Netanyahu, who was prime minister? Before Shimon Peres,
Yitzhak Rabin, many.
Yitzhak Rabin, Babrak,
Olmert.
Naftali
Bennett, all, you know, but none of them has hijacked Israel, and none of them has hijacked security of the region. None of them has hijacked people of Israel as Netanyahu has done.
Yeah, but he's
Netanyahu
also an elected.
has
He's also, sir. I
hijacked.
take your point, sir. But you know, the same Netanyahu, interestingly, at the United Nations, brought out two maps:
Yeah.
blessing and curse, and essentially suggested that Iran is the root of the curse. That had Iran not expanded and supported what he believes are the proxies of Iran, you could have actually had a Middle East region where there would have been free trade, and you could actually create a new Middle East. He's offering the world a vision of the new Middle East. The Americans, to some extent, clearly are backing that vision.
Is the IMAC corridor on or is the deal off? Because Saudi Arabia right now is standing...
Let's answer one by one. Iran, with more than 4,000 history civilization, is root of tension in the region, and Netanyahu and Israel with just more than 80 years.
Yes.
Yes.
About 80 years.
About 80 years.
77 years.
Is the main solution for peace and stability in the region.
This is what he said.
And a state which has been set up in an occupied land is blessing or good solution for the region, and is a green and welcomed by all world. And Iran, which has good relation with India, Iran is, you know, which has...
Let's talk about India.
But Iran, which has troubling relations with Saudi Arabia and other parts of the region. Iran, which is seen to export a form of Shiite Islam, which is seen as radicalized and fundamentalist, which according to Israel is a threat for the region, which according to the Americans is a threat for world peace, because you will be a nuclear power as well.
The establishment of Israel is threat to Iran, to whole region. This is a point which we should consider. Secondly, regarding IMAC, you know, all tension in the region has been raised because of the plan that was designed in the United States to change the geopolitics of the whole region.
But India is part of it.
As Netanyahu clearly showed by two maps, IMAC is a corridor. IMAC is a corridor that try to change the, you know, India is a part of IMAC. I am not saying anything. But regarding whether IMAC has any effect on Iran, we do not believe that IMAC has any effect, negative effect on Iran, because the geopolitical position of Iran and its advantages is uncomparable to any new corridor.
But has that impacted India-Iran relations? Because where is the Chabahar deal right now, Ambassador?
No,
is it on the table? Is it off the table?
Chabahar is far from. Chabahar is in the southeast of Iran. Very close from the
But is the deal on? Are we still on? Is it on the table? Is it off the table? The Chabahar.
We recently, just 2 months back, we signed the main contract with India, and everything is going on. And very soon the Indian vessels will, of course, now Indian economy will be benefited from the Chabahar.
Can I come back to the attack? Yeah. Because you said that there are conflicting reports. You're claiming that you have damaged Israeli military installations during your ballistic missile attack. There are those who are saying that the Israelis are saying not much damage was caused. Our Iron Dome ensured our security. Do you believe Can you tell us specifically the nature of the damage? Were Israeli F-35s damaged? Has Israel suffered a real hit, which they are hiding from the world? Is that what you're telling me today?
You know, according to our assessment, Iron Dome failed to intercept Iranian missiles. And pictures which was released by different neutral media, not media of, you know. I was monitoring CNN, BBC, and different Western channel during the operation. Most of them were showing another parts of Israel that there is nothing, and at the same time, other media was presenting picture of hitting and explosion of.
So you're saying major damage has been caused?
Yeah.
Because there was a sense that there had already early warnings had been issued that Iran planned to hit Israel. So Israel was prepared. There were reports suggesting that the US had provided, American intelligence had provided Israel information that you were going in for a missile strike. So Israel was prepared, and Israel and US together have ensured that this attack of Iran had minimal damage.
Yeah. You know, the quality of tension and war has changed. The war now is war of technology. The technology which we use in our new generation of missiles, you know, in the first round, they could intercept most part of our missiles.
This was in April.
In April.
Yes.
But this time, we learned from our first operation, and we used new generation. And if Israel do anything, we will deploy another generation of our missiles.
But are you not worried, Mr. Ambassador, that if this, you know, you're saying new technology, the Americans have all the technology in the world. Are you not worried that you are now possibly facing the prospect of Israel and America together targeting Iran? Is that a concern that you have, particularly if you have a US presidential election that elects a Donald Trump to power, who's been very strong on Iran? Are you worried that that's really where you could face the full blast of Israel and America?
According to our estimation or assessment, and the United States has shown that it's not eager to widespread tension or clashes or war in the region. So you're
not worried about the
United States? Prime Minister Netanyahu said
we believe that as we received some message, you know, after the assassination of the Ismail Haniyeh, we received a message from United States that please do not retaliate. There is negotiation between Palestinian and Israeli, so do not destroy this process.
Was it true that there was also talk of a ceasefire, which, as the Lebanese foreign ministers revealed to CNN,
and the Lebanese
ambassador to us, that there was some kind of an agreement about a week ago before the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah.
And that Hassan Nasrallah was a part of that agreement. That he agreed.
Is that true?
And the US agreed to it.
Was that true, that there was likely to be a ceasefire?
They were closing to ceasefire, but Netanyahu himself, I am saying that Netanyahu has hijacked Israel, has hijacked security, has hijacked stability of the region. Netanyahu's destiny is dependent on this war. Netanyahu believes that if it stops tension and war today, it will be charged by inside Israel. So Netanyahu tried to save himself.
And you believe they were all ready for a ceasefire. Hezbollah was ready for a ceasefire.
Hassan Nasrallah was ready for a ceasefire.
Hassan Nasrallah was ready for ceasefire.
And Netanyahu was in the know of it, and yet from the UN headquarters.
Netanyahu and Israel, after 7th of October, they found a good excuse to implement their plan for the Gaza, to devastate and destroy Gaza and occupy it at a whole. But the resistance of people of Gaza despite of all pressure, starvation, heavy casualty, targeting a residential area, targeting hospitals. They could not reach to the, so they were obliged to withdraw their forces from Gaza, as you know.
So he found an excuse and you
Ambassador
found an
Elahi.
excuse. You also found
No,
an excuse to
Ambassador
widen
Elahi.
your influence.
Ambassador Elahi,
No,
the fact
You found an excuse also to get the Hezbollah, to get Hamas, to get other forces and increase your influence.
No, we have...
Israel and Saudi Arabia were about to come to an agreement. Comes the Hamas attack on October 7th, and Iran once again comes into the theater of war.
No, you know, when theoretically, to discuss this issue theoretically differs from discussing in the media. In media, you know, there are too many controversial and hot words, you know. But if we analyze the situation, we should separate Saudi Arabia accord, Saudi Arabia rapprochement with Israel is a file separate from tension between Israel and Hezbollah, Israel and Hamas. And the support of Iran to Hezbollah, to Hamas is something else. Of course, the Saudi Arabia and Israel have closed, have good results, have good negotiation to reach to a conclusion for rapprochement. But the situation destroyed this because Saudi Arabia cannot be indifferent regarding what's happening in Gaza. If Saudi Arabia, despite of the genocide in Gaza...
Ambassador Elahi, we've seen the Saudi Arabian foreign minister speak at the United Nations. We saw the Jordanian foreign minister. But at the end of the day, we are nearing October 7th.
Yeah.
There is an attack that Israel is planning. Are you aware of what that's going to look like, what that's going to be? One is missile attack by Iran. Netanyahu has said there is not a place in Iran that Israeli missiles cannot reach. Do you have that capability? We are looking at a larger war. We are looking at a response from Israel. Is it going to happen on the 7th of October?
You know, regarding Iranian capability, we do not have concern. This is one. Secondly,
you're not concerned?
We are not concerned. We are not concerned. You know, we have experienced 8 years war with Saddam, which was close to Iranian border, occupied some part of Iran, and it was enjoyed support of United States. It was
but the technology was not the same. Look at the technology
and Iran
prowess of Israel.
Iran is not the Iran at 1981. When Saddam invaded Iran and occupied Khuzestan province, occupied some part of Kurdistan, occupied some part of Elam, different parts of Iran, and they dreamed to be in Tehran after 3 days. We did not have missile. We did not have too strong army, IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard, and conventional war. Army, so we did not reach to this level of technology which do we have now. We did not have, we were not at, we have not been at the level of self-sufficiency. Now we do not have any concern.
Okay.
But
of course,
Mr. Ambassador, have you been taken by surprise by the events of the last month? You had the pager attacks in Lebanon. You've had the assassination of Nasrallah. You've had the assassination of the Hamas leader inside Tehran. You've had, as Geeta said, several commanders have been eliminated. Has it all taken you by surprise in a way? And thereby, despite the confidence that you're exuding today, that you're much more prepared as a nation, does it worry you that you're pushing yourself into a situation where things could get rather nasty?
We were surprised, and we hope that the whole world could be surprised by assassination of an official guest inside Iran after the inauguration ceremony of the new president of Iran. You know, just at the night, at the evening, there was an official ceremony, and at the midnight, they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh inside Iran. We surprised. we have two scenarios. We have two scenarios. One scenario is to say, okay, we are witnessing an enemy who is not committed to any international law, any ethics, any
That's one scenario. And the second?
The second scenario is we need to make ourselves strong enough to deter this enemy, brutal enemy, whose hostility has no limitation. So we have to reach to a deterrence, and which was the main intention, main reason of our missile attacks to Israel.
But are we looking at deterrence, or are we looking at stronger players coming into play here? Because if October 7th is going to be an attack, if there's going to be an attack by Israel, if Iran retaliates, we're looking at the US coming into the picture. There have been bombings in Beirut, the very same port where the Russian forces are. Do you think Russia and China could also then come into the picture? Are we looking at a larger spectrum over here,
it is
not just confined to the Middle East or what we call West Asia?
You know, as I mentioned, we believe that Netanyahu has hijacked the security of the region. India, United States, Russia, China, Arab states of the region, all should be concerned of this. And they have to, I hope that they reach to this conclusion that they should stop Netanyahu from this genocide, this invasion, and Israel should stop its expansionist policy. Right.
Coming back to the Supreme Leader, he's going to speak in a while from now. We just wanted to understand, there were reports, like I said earlier, that he was in some underground cell. If he was not there, there are reports coming in that he was performing or going through ittikaf. If you could explain what that really means. Was he meditating in a special place in Qom just before his address?
Regarding the safe place.
What about his whereabouts?
His health, you mean?
His whereabouts, like where was he? Was he praying? Was he in meditation, what we call ittikaf, I suppose?
No.
Daily
he not daily, but the day before yesterday, he received a group of Iranian elites, Iranian scientists. The day before yesterday, the report is released, and today he is appearing and saying Friday prayer with too many people. Too many people are now gathering in the musalla praying.
So as we end today, you've told us that you feel the mainstream media has been unfair to Iran across the world, and has given a negative stereotype. Are you confident that in the weeks and months and years ahead, Iran will be able to portray a new Iran? Will we see a new Iran in terms of the world recognizing that there is another Iran away from the stereotypes? Or are you now trapped, in a way, a prisoner of the image you all have created across the world?
You know, I am surprised from this point that India was under sanction too. And India has passed the way that Iran now is passing. But just one difference. You wanted to reach to nuclear power. We do not want nuclear army. We do not want. But you try to have autonomous or independent strategy, autonomous strategy. We want also to be independent country, not to affiliated to West, not affiliated to East, as before the collapse of Soviet Union. So we reached to this conclusion that we have just one option, and that is to defend our national interests by all our capability and all means.
Okay.
Ambassador Elahi,
and it doesn't make which picture is presented about Iran.
Okay. Okay.
So talking about presenting the picture, you had just a while ago said that you'll invite Indian journalists to go to Iran. Are you going to assure us that we will be allowed to go to Iran, to cover Iran, to see what's really happening on the ground?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that's an assurance.
That's good to hear, Ambassador.
Thank you.
I appreciate you joining us. You've taken the time, and we've given you the time to give your perspective, and it's important to have that perspective from Tehran. Thank you so much, Ambassador Elahi, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks all audience for giving me time and India Today for this opportunity to have a frank and frankly and friendly talk about Iran, to give a true picture about Iran and Iranian policy.